with Scott Presler. Scott, thank you for joining us on
Thank you,
NTD.
Cindy.
So, you've been cleaning up messy
Yes.
cities in the US. I know you recently put out a challenge to ask people how they feel that we care more about illegal immigrants than the homeless. But why don't we roll back a bit and tell me
Sure.
what you've been doing in terms of cleaning up America.
Yes, well, back in August 2019, President Trump shone a giant spotlight on the city of Baltimore, and he was talking about that, it needed more love and attention. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna go to the city of Baltimore, even if it's me standing on a street corner picking up trash, and I only figured that my ma and dad would be out there with me, but the tweet went viral, and within 6 days, I had to plan an event for 170 volunteers.
Oh, wow.
And we picked up 12 tons of trash in 12 hours in one day, simply from one tweet organically on social media.
So that must have inspired you to
Yes.
keep going. What happened next?
Well, I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm the son of a retired Navy captain, so I've lived a life of community service. But for me, it's kind of like I feel responsibility, because on Twitter I have almost 450,000 followers. So I'm like, what do all of these likes, followers, what does this mean unless I use my account for good? And I went, okay, we did Baltimore. I'm kind of good at picking up trash. I didn't study waste management and sanitation in school, but I was like, I'm good at this. So I said, okay, what's next? What else can I do? And so I started thinking, I want to go into America's most dangerous, most dirty cities, and I want to go into America's most dangerous and dirty cities, and I want to bring hope where people have so long felt neglected and hopeless. And in this last year, we've been to Austin, Baltimore, Chicago, Houston, Los Angeles, Portland, San Francisco, and I've got plans for 2020. So this year alone started in San Francisco, Portland, and I'm going to Philly, Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Wow. So in addition to removing trash, what other successes or maybe long-term impacts have you seen?
Sure. Well, I think the biggest thing of what these trash cleanups is doing is showing a can-do attitude. Because the American spirit is one where we don't rely on the government, where we rely on our community, where we say, okay, it's time that brothers and sisters come together and we do what's right for our community without relying on anybody else. So I think it's really just teaching people the power of one. I started off as a dog walker, picking up dogs' droppings for a living. And look, now I'm speaking at CPAC, and I'm doing cleanups across America, and I'm just a normal, average guy. So I want everybody watching and listening to realize you're more powerful than you even think or comprehend. And the coolest part for me has been these cleanups has actually helped the homeless community as well. I was telling you earlier, in Los Angeles, we picked up 50 tons of trash in Van Nuys in Los Angeles, California. And
Wow.
This is an area where Dr. Drew Pinsky talks about all the time that there's potential leprosy, bubonic plague, typhus, and here you have our people, American citizens, sleeping not even a dozen feet from potential deadly bacteria. And the area that we cleaned up not only has stayed clean months later, but a reporter texted me and said, Scott, I want you to know that 5 of the homeless people that were living there have agreed to housing, which means we were able to safely get people off the streets and get them into a much more healthy environment. And my friend Brandon, when we went to Chicago, we were in 63rd Street, which is a dangerous area. He told me, and I need to confirm this, that Mr. Robert, I think his name is, was also agreeing to housing as well. So these areas that we're cleaning up is not only the tangible removal of trash, but it's also giving people hope and purpose
and
again.
People care. They're coming,
and we're
you're
showing
going
that we
to
give a
their
darn.
community.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And so I saw that you put out this challenge
Yes.
to ask people how come they care more about illegal immigrants than the homeless. What kind of response have you gotten to that? And well, let's go back first. What do you mean by that? Give me an example.
Well, I want to go over statistics with you. I mean, I think it's wrong and I think it's unconscionable that in our country, one of the greatest, freest countries, the richest countries, We have 500,000, 500,000 homeless Americans. We have 50,000 homeless veterans. We have 3.6 million black children living in poverty, 4 million Hispanic children living in poverty, and 4.2 million white children living in poverty. So my question to the world is, if Black lives matter, Hispanic lives, veterans' lives, homeless Americans, then why are we rewarding illegal immigrants who break our laws, but we don't put our people first? We don't take care of our people. Meanwhile, during the Democratic debates, they all raised their hands to give health care for illegal immigrants. And my question is, why aren't you raising your hand to give health care to American citizens first? And when I went to San Francisco, we were protested. This is the first time we were protested. We were protested for picking up trash by the local Antifa group. And, they were yelling at us, "Go home, bigot," to a gay man that's picking up trash in their city. And I went up to them very respectfully. I'm not antagonistic. And I said, "Will you help us pick up trash?" And no response. And I said again, "Will you help us?" So these people chose to spend their Saturday protesting while we chose to pick up trash. And, my same question goes to them. Why aren't they going to talk to Osiris like I did, a homeless man living in a tent in their city in San Francisco? And why isn't your heart there for them, for your people?
No answer?
No answer.
So you're also asking homeless people how they feel about this. So what kind of response did you get?
Well, I always want to be as respectful of their humanity as humanly possible. I'm not there to judge. I'm not there to point the finger. I want to learn, and I want to, most importantly, we have 2 ears for a reason. I want to listen to them. I'm not there to have all the answers. And I went up to a young gentleman, black gentleman, named Osiris, and I said, "Can I talk to you for a second, and may I have permission to film you?" And I said, "How does it make you feel that you are here living in the tent on the streets of San Francisco, but illegal immigrants are coming first?" And he said, "What about us?" He said, "It's our turn. We were here first." And I think that's a great response, and I understand his anger. I spoke to another gentleman who he had a dog with him. I assume that's his prized possession, because I spoke to another woman in Austin who her dog was her life. And he revealed to me he's lived more time outside than inside. And I just think that's criminal. I think it's wrong. And so for me, I grew up middle class, son of a retired Navy captain. Like I said, I started off as a dog walker. I've had my share of privilege, but it's been so fascinating listening to these stories and just hearing from people. And most importantly, I'm here to help. So I wanted to ask them, what can we do for you? And I also asked them, are they registered to vote? Because if they do not vote, you're giving away your voice. You're giving away your power to other people to make decisions over your life, and you have no say in it. And the best part for me was after we were done with Osiris, I said exactly that. Please vote. Your vote is your voice. And he said he's going to actually consider again voting in 2020 because of the conversation with me.
Now, can homeless people register to vote
Yes.
without an address?
Yes.
How do they do that?
I don't know for every state, but I know for Virginia, for example, you can register to vote at your current location. So, for example, if somebody's living under an underpass in a green tent, you can say, Scott Presler, the green tent under I-45 Expressway at, X Road. And to my understanding, the mailman will come and deliver your voter registration card to you at your tent. And so, yes, we need to actually be going out and empowering the homeless community by registering them to vote.
Very interesting. Well, thank you for talking with me.
No, thank you, Cindy,
today.
and thank you to NTD for having me today.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely.